because I feel like what he did in the first like 30 minutes, it just like made the game so easy for EG. Like gave them such a big advantage.
He had a nice laning phase and got really, really farmed.
Even like late game team fight initiations. I mean, he got RP'd a few times. That sucks, but I felt like he set up a lot of team fights too.
Sure. I think we should just give it to Universe on the basis that every time he's had an amazing game, Sumail has been like 0.5% better and has snuck the MVP away from him. So
that's true. Sumail has had a really impressive tournament, and we talked about a little bit how carry players were not a great patch for carries, so we see a ton of like star power from the mid players, but this is like a below average Sumail game, right? He has 4 deaths.
Yeah.
True.
He's usually like 0 or 1, so a little bit feeding this game, but I'm glad they pulled out the victory.
RTZ had a really good game as well. I think I love the halberd change was a really good item build adjustment just because Klinks is pretty good at killing him, and you can use it to stop him from attacking. I just think it was a good pickup. Definitely, I like to see heroes or players take like one item and fit it into a normal build, and it absolutely fits the situation, makes it better.
We don't see a lot of halberds picked up.
Yeah,
it worked out really well here.
It's good at breaking Lincolns now. It's like 18-second cooldown.
Yeah, I saw it like in that one fight, in one of the replays. Have they changed the range on halberd?
Possibly.
I feel like the range was like pretty decent.
It's one of those items that if it gets buffed, you just don't care. So all of a sudden you look at the notes and it's like, oh, 12 buffs in a row.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I think it's like 500 maybe?
I could see it being
no,
at least 600.
I think it's actually a little bit longer than that now. But it used to be. It used to be like that.
It used to be shorter, right?
Yeah, it used to be shorter. It was like shorter than actual range heroes, which just felt awkward.
It's really good against Klinks. I think it's 4.5 seconds on range against range heroes, 3 seconds disarm on melee.
Yeah, and Klinks only really goes BKB. He doesn't like get Manta or anything. So
yeah, seems
what,
good.
What do we make of Black's performance on the Klinks?
It was
good, wasn't it?
Again, good.
That very last fight, he didn't follow up. Like there was a nice 2-man RP by Ice Ice Ice, and I was like, "Where's the damage?"
He was busy on the top of the fight, I think, with the other heroes. It was very
so maybe just not the best coordination.
Yeah, I think one really big thing that allowed him to do better was that FACELESS took really fast safe lane tower of EG and the tier 2 as well. And when you have the whole jungle open like that, even if there is a shrine, it just allows Klinks a lot more space to move around, grabbing neutrals, looking for kills with full HP. That kind of thing completely changes. But if you get shut out on a Klinks game and your team hasn't taken a tower yet, your hero feels worthless because you're pretty much just there for ganking and some DPS transition.
Unfortunately, they just couldn't keep that control that they were able to get with the early towers, and that's really where Universe came in. It's the most important part of the game. First 30 minutes is where FACELESS had to win.
That's kind of where Klinks is super good, though, right? He's like an incredibly strong right after like level 6, level 7. Once he gets that Soul Ring up, Ring of Aquila, and he can kind of move around. And if he eats like a hard camp creep, he's got like over like what is he at, like 11?
It's got to be around 2K almost.
2K?
Yeah,
HP?
like at least like 1500. Yeah, you eat a large creep and it's like 500, 700 HP for sure.
Regardless, like he's super strong. I was gonna say like 1200, but
it might be. I was gonna say 1500. So we're kind of in the middle there.
It starts at 5%.
Some great analysts.
It's 5%. It starts at 5%. It's like 550 HP when you eat a big creep with level 1 ulti. Pretty sure it's 5%.
And that puts him up to.
He's probably around 800, 6 to 800 depending on treads. When he's 6.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So he'd be like.
Did you say 11?
Yeah, 1100, 1200 total HP.
Okay, but I was thinking strength treads. Okay. All right.
2K might
be fine.
All right. 2K was too high.
We're having a discussion. It's fine.
Yeah. No,
Dragonlance was there.
Yes.
There you go. Add a 220 that.
There you go. Yeah, so it was cool to see Klinks. I missed the hero, but I do feel like he doesn't power farm. He doesn't clear waves. Yeah. I think he's not necessarily in the meta, but we talked about FACELESS being a team that may have to like break the meta in order to win this series.
Yeah. And cool to see Black playing in particular. Just in the sense that we've spoken a little bit about his inflexibility cap in the past. His insistence on
maybe in the past.
AFK farming style.
Okay, you're going to go back to that story. Come on. Can't keep going back to that story.
Have I given him so much bad press?
No, but I think it's good. I really like the way that FACELESS, in some ways, covered some of the weaknesses of the Klinks, where, as you said, they didn't have that kind of wave clear. They had instead they had Ember Spirit and Magnus to be able to provide a little bit of the cover of that. So you had this like 2 pretty dangerous like frontline heroes, a solid initiator, but you also had a little bit of split push and wave clear that allows Klinks more time to be able to farm off the jungle, because I think what you never want to be doing as a Klinks is really aggressively like pushing out side lanes or that sort of thing. He has the mobility for it, but he doesn't have the wave clear for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
It's just not good enough. It was really well done though. Well played.
Right. So let's look ahead to the second draft. What are we expecting, Peter? What do you want to see from EG, and what do you want to see from FACELESS, more importantly, to get back into the match?
I think we're going to see more of the same from EG. I felt like their picks were not too off the wall. I think the Warlock worked out really well. Especially like whenever he got rock off, the EG kind of dominated the fight.
Yeah, most of those times. I think one of the errors for Faceless, I think the Crystal Maiden, it definitely made the mana pool of his team better, but he was just food consistently. He must have died like 6 times. That Universe finds him. Just basically always looking for Crystal Maiden to either accelerate himself or Sumail.
I think the drafts were actually pretty even.
I would agree.
Overall, like, the game was like very back and forth, which was cool. I think Ice 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 had like an exceptional performance, and if they would have won, he certainly would have been the MVP of his team. But yeah, the Crystal Maiden didn't really have like the same impact that like Warlock or Kunkka or Earth Spirit had, so he kind of was a little underwhelming in that regard. So maybe differing up the supports, favoring like a little more team fight would be nice.
I like to see supports that scale a little bit better for Faceless, just because, again, I don't think they could have closed out the game fast enough until EG really starts hitting where those supports start scaling, and I don't know. I felt like, I don't know about you, Peter, but I felt like post like 40 minutes, maybe it was just like kind of inevitable that EG would take it. It was just like Ice 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 and Faceless in general just had to actually kind of outplay EG in a number of team fights in order to actually win it.
And that last team fight, they didn't. You know, we saw the RP, there wasn't enough follow-up.
It's like
both the supports lived, they got off all their spells, and it was a hard lineup to execute for Faceless. But they made some really great plays in the mid game, and it looked like they had they definitely had a chance to take that game at one point.
Yeah, I know you said that if they're going to do something crazy, do it game 1.
Yeah.
But now they're 1-0 down. They've got nothing to lose. They might as well do the crazy now.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they should play a little more standard to something they're a little more comfortable with if they feel like they're confident enough to win.
Yeah.
If anything,
do you think they've got
they
enough?
prove they're good enough.
Yeah, I was
right?
going to say, do you think they
no need for crazy.
They take that out in the first game, don't they? They say, well, actually, we ran them pretty close. It was a long game.
Well,
we had a chance.
You can do something crazy in game 1 because if you lose, there's always game 2. Now there's no, there might not be a game 3 unless you win. So
I mean, if they got shut out in game 1, then we could see them really do something crazy.
But do you think maybe they want to just try and catch EG out a little bit and win a draft?
Well, maybe they, there's a lot of mind, or like a lot of thought there. Is because maybe they put up such a good fight because their draft was a little off the wall. It was like a little different, bringing the Clinks in, which is a different hero that EG probably. I don't know. When's the last time EG played against Clinks? Like, not very often, that's for sure. Yeah. So maybe do something a little bit crazy, and maybe it'll work this time, or dial it back and do something a little more standard. But I feel like that might play into EG's favor, a little more standard game.
I think I agree with Cap. I think Faceless should take that game and say we almost beat them. We had some good advantages. We had good team fights. They got a lot of heroes they wanted to, I think. I just think the CM, maybe a different hero, the whole game would have been different. Something that fit into good against Axe, gives them like decent early game, but also better late game team fight. I'm not really sure what
Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, I guess Venge could have worked, yeah.
It's good against Axe.
Yeah, that's true.
What I think.
Could have saved people, yeah.
What was CM's first items?
Like Glimmer Cape and
doesn't matter.
I mean, it doesn't matter. But maybe like if he could have gotten like an earlier Yule Scepter or something that would have lessened the impact of the axe, right?
Got a Midas.
I don't know about that one.
Midas on everyone.
I think it was like Tranquil.
Frostbite one creep, Midas the other. You're done with the camp.
I think if you're a hero that has potential to get a Midas, you should be getting a Midas. I think Crystal Maiden is one of those. I think Warlock is one of those. I don't think Kunkka was one. Earth Spirit. You could argue for a Midas on Earth Spirit.
Yeah, I think sometimes if you really don't need a blink kick horn.
Here we go then. Draft number 2.
Same bans.
Same openers, yeah.
Yeah. Nyx has been banned against Faces for, I think, about 6 months now. They've probably forgotten about this hero. Maybe they've forgotten how to play it. Who knows?
Maybe.
I wonder if in scrims they're just like, don't pick the hero.
Yeah, or don't bother anymore.
Yeah, like, because in scrims the teams might not ban it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, nah, we're never going to get in a real match. What's the point?
Could be.
Monkey King ban again?
Yep.
You feel like Timursaw is really that good of a hero for Ice Ice Ice? For specifically Ice 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 that you should ban it? Because I kind of feel like that hero is just not really that valuable.
Yeah, I don't think that hero is that great, but I guess they feel like they have an open ban. They're comfortable playing against whatever else is in the pool. Faceless is a team that has played a little bit different than what the original meta is, so maybe they feel like they have a free ban because some of the more popular meta heroes Faceless hasn't been utilizing. First pick in the last game was Earth Spirit.
And they're going to continue that trend.
Yep. Also a deny pick for EG, something that they would definitely consider taking, especially with Monkey King out of the pool. Might see Zion like another kind of creative hero.
We talked about this, Peter, in the earlier match today. VGJ had the same kind of stubborn, we're going to pick the same thing and let you come at us because we were really good at it.
But Faceless picked the same thing.
Sure.
We might see some. I think as long as EG has some variation. Like
how would you like to see it variate this time around?
Well, they're just reacting to what the picks are. So
Yep.
they see Earth Spirit, and they feel like the best 1-2 combo against an Earth Spirit opener is Lifesteal Warlock, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No.
I think the difference is in this, and then the other one is that Vici, like, let's see, who is it? IGV or Vici was, or no, IGV was picking different heroes, and Vici was picking the same heroes.
Yep.
And here we see Faceless with the same exact opener, so we're probably going to see similar bans from EG. And I think eventually somebody's going to differentiate, and it's probably going to be Faceless, which will lead EG to differentiate as well.
Maybe ban away the Invoker.
Yeah, that's a great option.
Opportunity to do that, haven't they?
Hand on the chin, thinking face.
Same ban again.
Is it? I don't remember.
Yeah.
The 3-4 bans are so forgettable.
Yeah, all 5 bans exactly the same.
I think it's totally fine Faces open with this again. Like, both of those heroes were definitely valuable.
Yeah.
I think Jabs played really well in that Ember Spirit too at many stages of the game.
6 out of 6 bans exactly the same.
They also feel that Ember Spirit is the proper response to Lifesteal Warlock, and I don't disagree at all.
I actually really like watching drafts like these, like the second game of it, just to see what the small nuance differences.
Yeah.
Slark this time banned by EG, not Faceless, correct?
Nope, exactly the same.
Maybe we'll have a game 3 and we'll have the same draft again.
Ooh. That would be the...
Yeah, EG banned out the Slark last time as well.
Yep, Lifestealer counter.
So did the Faceless open Crystal Maiden? Was that the first pick of their... Okay. Will that one be different? I'm hoping so. That's the one
We've
I'm
had
hating
7
on.
exact bans and 4 exact picks so far. This could easily...
Okay.
Ah, there we go.
Invoker.
Okay. So the Invoker's gone this time round. Faceless didn't like that.
Lina.
And it does leave the Lina open.
Are you ever concerned about running Lina Lifestealer, in which case you don't have that same kind of like truly scaling mid? Or do you think Lina actually can rival some of these other scaling mids when she starts transitioning into right-click damage?
I think she scales pretty fine.
Yeah.
I think it's like a semi carry. Lifestealer Lina is like a little weak, but now that they have Slardar to give amp,
yeah, that really changes things.
Yeah, it's going to not only increase Lina's right-click damage, but also Lifestealer's, so it kind of helps them scale into the late game.
I'm fairly sure that'll be Zai's hero as well. I don't think it'll be Universe.
Sure. Yeah. For sure.
So I think that it's just really safe for EG to go for Slaughter there, since they know Faces will probably do something different. And Invoker's just so safe in a lot of ways. Like, he kind of works against everything, so they've got to pick something similar in Bane.
Oh, and the ban from Faces was Slardar last time instead of Invoker.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the difference. Different ban, different pick.
Yep.
Because before Slardar was banned, so they had to go for the Kunkka instead.
Although they did save it for 4th.
Yeah, they did.
It also gives more value to the SF as well, if EG feel like Lina's the hero. I think there are just so many good options in the pool against an early Ember Spirit pick. That's my one problem with it, is that I'm okay with Ember Spirit 3-4, but the 3-4 bans don't give you enough to work with in order to stop the Ember Spirit heroes.
My God, they're picking
3 out of 3.
Picking the same heroes, guys.
Well, I like it better against Slardar than Kunkka, that's for sure.
It's a little bit better this game.
Good
yeah,
dancing
exactly.
in the background.
Sorry, you're absolutely right. It's definitely better against Slardar than Kunkka. Kunkka offers like a ton of team fight, which kind of outscales Crystal Maiden's amount of team fight. So if EG has less team fight, Faceless can get away with having a little bit less team fight as well.
Plus the little control she has, that's the best way to deal with Slardar. If he can't move, then at least you know what he's about to do. Whereas Kunkka can just react, cast spells.
That's true. If Slardar can't move, he can only stun what's around him.
That's true.
The LC got banned, 5th ban right now, by Faceless last time.
So snatching it up early.
Yeah.
It kind of solves the Axe puzzle piece as well. Like, good at pressuring, good at the lane.
Ooh, last
just a little different.
Last pick Sumail hero.
It's been a while since we saw this, I think.
Yeah.
I still really like that, right? Because they still have 2 options. They also now give themselves a scaling offlaner as well. So that way, if we do see the Lina Lifestealer, then you're still fine with going like 50 minutes plus because you have this LC.
If it's last pick, do you think he might pick up a Storm?
That's the hope.
I don't think so.
That's the dream.
Against Ember, Earth Spirit, and Crystal Bane, they all have something to be able to deal with Storm Spirit, some sort of ensnare or silence.
Yeah, the ensnare now from Crystal Bane actually locks Storm Spirit in.
Yeah,
so it's pretty good.
Ensnare's just kill.
Stops him from, yeah, that's actually super good spell against Storm. Can't zip, can't right click.
I feel like Legion protects against some of that. Like they could maybe get away with it because they press the attack.
They could, but I'm fairly certain that EG will not pick Storm Spirit unless they have Wisp, Crystal Maiden, or Caudal on their team.
For extra mana.
Yeah, I feel like that is an idea that is like ingrained in the back of their heads. At least it was when I was playing.
Morphling for Faceless have played it before in the group stage.
It's an evasive hero. Lots of burst nuke, which can be very good against heroes like Lifestealer, Slower Legion. If you duel him before he starts morphing, he can't morph, I believe. So it's kind of playable for EG.
Harder scaling Lifestealer counter. That's what I like about it anyway. Clinks is so fragile and situational.
The extra mana is going to help a lot, actually. That's one thing that makes Morphling farm really fast, just abusing waveform. It's kind of like a better version of Sakuchi.
Okay, so for EG's draft, I think I would guess Lina or Shadow Fiend, but it depends like which one Faceless decides to ban. I'm trying to think if there's any other better options. Like, I think that they definitely want to be able to abuse Ember Spirit in lane. That's a huge tell that they have to take advantage of. But is there anything that can abuse Ember Spirit in lane that also matches up good against Morphling? Because right now they really don't have a lot of great tools to deal with Morphling.
There are heroes, but I think they're all, like, would you be okay with a fourth melee hero on the side of EG's lineup?
It depends what it is.
What about like an OD?
OD would be nice.
Would be a good answer.
Yeah, OD is pretty good against Morphling. I like OD. I think I like OD better than Lina and...
I like it better than Lina. I don't know about SF.
It's close.
I guess. Lina's more offense, SF's more defense.
They take away the Magnus.
I think I like OD the best, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Earth Spirit has a really rough time, like, roaming on mid, too, if it's OD. Just, like, astral somebody and walks away.
What do we got? Centaur, and what other offlaners are left for Faceless?
Oh, the OD ban. All right, so now what do we got? Lina or SF?
Yeah.
Anything else? Any Morphling counters?
Rubik?
They're like soft,
Mid
Rubik. They're like the softer melee counters, like the Jug with Diffusal or Ursa or something like that. But I don't think they offer the same kind of synergy that SF does, or Lina. I think Lina is still a better answer to Morphling. SF is better synergy with EG's lineup.
Haven't really spoken about it too much, but Samao on that Lina plays it very differently to the majority.
Yeah, he skips.
We spoke a bit off camera earlier.
He skips the respawn talent.
He does, yeah. And it seems to pay for him.
I'm not
as well,
gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
It's a confident player.
I'm gonna do me. They ain't gonna touch me.
Doesn't need minus respawn timer. Doesn't need gold for buyback.
Well, you don't need minus respawn timer, Peter, if you're not gonna die.
Yeah, I mean, he's a perfectionist. He's
loser mentality, man. Oh, damn.
Hello.
That is not.
Pit Lord in the house for the first time.
Yeah.
At DAC, and we do get a Samao Lina in there as well. So
Lina's definitely the pick versus Underlord.
Is this the wacky draft that we thought we might get from Faceless? It is.
Is Underlord pretty bad?
Is it going to work though? Is the question, Peter? Is it going to work?
If they were equal teams, potentially, but I think EG's the better team. I think that they'll take this game.
Okay, so you're going to stick with EG for game 2 in a sweep. Kevin?
I'm going to go with EG. I do like the Pit Lord for his area control. It's going to be really good against the melee heroes, but so I kind of like it as a pick, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't think Underlord actually provides a whole lot for you in this meta right now. Like, you can't just, like, 5-man death ball to win, so no, EG.
EG for you as well.
Yeah.
Clean sweep. Okay, a clean sweep here on the analyst panel. Will it be a clean sweep for Evil Geniuses? Let's find out as we head back to our commentary duo of Gods and ODPixel.
Thanks very much, Paul. Indeed, this very exciting game 2 of EG versus Faceless coming up. We've just seen the drafts. Faceless finishing off with something a little different. EG is something a little more familiar, of course, with the Samao Lina, but Abyssal Underlord, a hero that there was a portion where teams, especially China and such, they were picking this, but now we're coming into this Faceless grab it. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of success with this hero recently. Why the hero this game?
They want something that can 5-man. They want to have this strong group up push kind of play, perhaps like hit this mid-game time with a Morphling, but I think Peter said pretty well, like, isn't this hero not good? It was a question because we haven't seen that hero. Like, since all the nerfs, it seemed everyone just stopped picking him, so now it's like, well, he sucks, right? Like, everyone just assumes the hero's not good. Maybe teams aren't going to be, like, have kind of forgotten how to play versus it. Playing around the Dark Rift can be something very valuable. So we'll see if it's something EG can handle. I mean, it was very meta for a while, so it's not going to be a complete surprise by any means, but definitely a hero they did not expect to see in this best of 3.
Absolutely, and Black, of course, as well. This time around, getting the Morphling. We saw him have it on the Clinks. I mean, considering the flame that Clinks kind of got at the start for the panel, and understandably so with the way that the hero's been performing recently, Black did manage to get a lot done on the Clinks. We'll see what he's able to do on the Morph. And how good of a Morph game is this, in your opinion?
I think it's a very good hero against, like, the Slider Lifestealer. You've got very high armor naturally through all your Agi. Get going on, you can morph to strength as necessary. Perhaps struggles a lot more against the Lina, but with the OD ban, this definitely protected the Morphling quite nicely and sets him up to be in a pretty decent spot as far as Morph's game goes. We'll see how his lane is. Slider, after the nerfs, doesn't seem to contest the off lane really as much. Isn't quite that menace in the early game laning stage as a full position, so I definitely feel like he should do all right come laning stage, but Legion, pretty strong laning hero in itself, so they will have to prioritize, like, yeah, both supports in this top lane feels like a necessary ingredient as far as Faceless for the start goes.
And we can see already, I mean, Underlord...
Morphling is positioned down.
Yeah, Underlord has just started to head up towards top lane side, so it looks like they are going to switch it around in reaction to what they've seen the EG come out with.
Okay, so they're thinking they can contest the Lifesteal's lane state. Something we've seen again and again, we saw it last game with EG, is giving Lifesteal these 1v1s. If he has a good matchup, Underlord is a good matchup, give him a 1v1. So it seems like Faceless forcing EG to actually play a support game, you know? Like, Arteezy normally is left alone because he wins 1v1s. He's got a good matchup, he's a very good mechanical player. And then this Warlock is top. Like, they're expecting this Warlock, okay, now he TP's bottom. They realize what's going on, but this is going to force EG to play like a more standard lane setup. They can't be as greedy because of this, which is like what the end result of having the Warlock top and the Lifesteal 1v1 is, that it's super greedy. They win 3 lanes. That's not going to happen here.
Mid lane Zai, cut across, looking for some harassment here onto Jabs. XY in return was hanging around just in case any sort of play like that does occur. As both mid laners being backed up by a support at the moment, and indeed leaving these side lanes, that top lane, the 1v1 Legion versus the Underlord. Down bottom, the 2v2. I mean, the question is, can Faceless get what they hope to achieve down there? Can they slow down Arteezy's farm, or is the Warlock presence going to be more than enough to be a nuisance back to Faceless?
A straight 2v2 is fine for Arteezy. He's got Shadow Word, so he's got heal, he's got Feast for sustain. It is one of the lower armor heroes, and that's one of the hero's weaknesses early on, but poor man shield, Quelling Blade, he's all right, and the Slider's immediately responding with his presence down here.
Again, at the same time, XY does respond. Nuts will be able to get himself back, and as we're seeing, it's the Shadow Word enough to stop Faceless from being able to get anything too critical in return with this reaction. XY continues to sit down bottom. The Crush again will be down to Black. They'll roll forward, hold back Zion the Slardar. Just turning trading hits, but overall it really seems like with the presence of the 3v3, EG are the stronger lineup in terms of heroes.
The big thing with the aggro trial is you do have the Shrine advantage, but it doesn't feel like they get that much damage dealt before they Shrine. Like, ideally you want to really harass and force out a lot of spells and damage onto Lifesteal or Warlock. Slider, yeah, he chomped through most of his mana pool and suffered a little bit there, but the other 2 heroes didn't feel like they really got bullied at all.
Oh, and look at this already. Faceless are going to change lanes up because of what's going on. They've sent Black straight up to the top lane. Ice will move over to the jungle to pick up some camps, and at the moment they're allowing Nuts to pick up a bit of the solo lane down here on this bottom. So very, very much respecting the way that EG's managed to play around Faceless's lanes.
Yep, that first couple of minutes really decided the outcome of this bottom lane, that you Shrine without harassing or zoning the Lifestealer, that lane is not going to be won, so you're Morphling, you want him to free farm. If he can free farm bottom, that's the preferred laning set for Faceless, but if he's going to get contested in this lane and with the Slider Warlock presence, that's going to happen. You send him top, but crit, he's going to follow him around. You go top on Warlock, I follow you there. So he's going to match Black wherever he goes, and this is definitely problematic for Black.
And the mid lane as well, talking about problems for Faceless, Samael having a cracker of a time. 17 for 8 against Jabs' 9 for 1. This matchup certainly proving to be rather one-sided in the first few minutes.
2 games in a row, EG winning all 3 lanes. That is bad news bears for the Faceless squad.
Even get a kill by those of it as well with Universe Inside closing in onto Nuts. Black will at the back of XY.
He's getting chomped at, though.
Look at how aggressive Universe can be.
Every lane, the aggression from EG is being shown. They're such a dominant team in the laning stage, and we're seeing it here.
Black has to be careful how he groups around this creeps, because there's another nuke from Universe. Black does have the morph, has a lot of mana to work with as well, but still, Universe just really going in on Black. Pushing this lane in, and the farm difference between all 3 cores on both sides.
Jabs is
pretty massive.
He's level 3.5 on Ember. Where's Lina, like level 5 or something? Oh my, this laning stage being crushed. As FACELESS will have to, yeah, early 2-man smoke. They're like,
They've got to get Sumail with this.
Disaster. We gotta fix this. Oh, the smoke pops early. Radiant Ward not gonna scout it immediately, and it's still nighttime, so this game could still theoretically work. CM is going to hide in the Roshan pit, just anticipating a Radiant mid ward. So it's like, you want to let the Earth Spirit get the roll before you come out.
They have to lock her down there, because Sumail's got a haste rune. Yeah, immediately just pops it, backs off, and now Jabs himself could be in trouble. Light Strike and Dragon Slave will be there in a second. As Sumail looking to move in, he's having to hold back as the chains will there. Be there to cast animation. He is going in incredibly great. I mean, he trusts in the haste rune. He feels safe. And he will get out, he won't get the kill, but again, we're seeing Universe's aggression top, Sumail's bravado in the middle lane.
That is freed up these lanes. Look, Morphling's gone back to Fountain. He's healing back there. He's like, I got lane, gotta pick up some items back at base, buy Salve and Tango. You're like 5 minutes in the game and you're meant to be free farming on Morphling. No, you're buying Salve Tango. He's got 13 CS. He's put all of the money from farming into extra regen. This is...
Oh man. I mean, this first 5 minutes is nothing less than an absolute disaster here for FACELESS.
Yep, EG stomping the lanes. And bottom lane, TZ is probably just telling his team, like, I don't really need help. I'll farm. He can't really stop Ice from doing this. Ice can come behind, throw fire down, get some CS, but...
I mean, we just saw Black having to head back to base to the fountain. We're going to see Jabs have to do the same as he's getting chased down by Zai.
Level 4 still. Oof. And Lina's already level 6.
Good luck coming back into lane against that Laguna.
Yeah. And Sumail doing this build that he always goes for. Rushes the phase boots. Loves that extra movement speed for the aggression it gives him early on. We'll be fishing for that 6-minute rune.
I mean, Jabs, if he gets caught out by a light strike without that flame guard, he is definitely dead in this mid lane.
Nifty rune as well, the regen. Gonna give Lina constant sustain for all her spells.
Universe, finally not quite level 6 yet. Very, very close though, and a few crews going down. Still not quite enough, but continuing to put pressure onto the Morphling now, turning their attention towards Nuts. And of course they've got that chase down, purging the root off himself and chasing it down. And again, it's more trouble for FACELESS. As mid lane, Zai with the wraparound, it's kill to kill to kill. I mean,
and it's a tower.
Oh my goodness,
a 6.5 mid-tier 1 tower. And with a Lina of all things, Sumail doing such a good job, always spamming out the lane, zoning the Ember, and then maximizing the damage up on that tower. That is one of the most one-sided mid lanes we've seen all tournament.
One-sided lanes overall. As EG, and this top lane as well, Black has to be careful. Universe, that's the duel. Mid lane, again, just look how low Jabs is being brought.
He just wants that, well, let's say level 6 before he goes back to base. No, he wants that level 5, as he'll have to go back using up the shrine before heading back to lane. Sumail dominating.
Phase boost level 7, top lane, Black being forced right back behind his tower, and indeed, Nuts comes a little too close for his own comfort. 4-0 EG, 7.5 minutes in, bottom lane, RTZ. In the solo lane, continuing to find everything that he wants.
Has his Midas, you know, he's just going to farm this game. When you're winning all the lanes, you're perfectly happy for your carry just to go greed, get his Midas, not get involved.
They're taking another tower as well, 8 minutes in EG.
Yeah. The big problem here is the hero that's doing well, the Underlord, isn't a hero that gets like a blink and rotates. If that's like a Centaur, an Axe, some kind of space creating hero, you're like, great, we just got a blink, let's smoke up with our supports, our offlaner, let's go get some kills, let's go fix this lane stage. Underlord's a hero that rushes a mech. You don't really gank with Underlord. You don't really do much with mech.
Who's there on the high ground. Yeah. Once again, Sumail ready to follow through the initiation of Zai. And nothing that FACELESS can do to get any sort of blood in response.
It's going to have a very early Yule, so you can't even rely on that Flame Guard anymore as a defensive tool to try and farm the lane. If you get Yules, or purge it off and set up a combo. Even if you wait to Flame Guard post Yules, you may just get bursted down through it with all the Lina damage, considering how far ahead Sumail is.
I mean, if Faceless can come back from this sort of a laning stage, it is going to be incredibly
Radiant's
impressive.
Rush queued up for Ice. I'm not sure if he'll commit to this or opt for other items, but as said, it's like a mech isn't going to change this game. It's like you don't gank with this. He's going to play this like the Abaddon and just try and farm it up, go late game. If he commits to the Radiance, it's probably going to depend how the next few minutes go before he actually takes that approach or if he does something else.
Back to base for himself. Top lane crit, soaking up some XP as the lane pushes in. And again with this warding, they've spotted out Nuts' movement. Full vision here for EG as it with the blink. Straight in. Universe getting the first of potentially many bits of bonus damage there for the duel.
Yep. No rock yet, but this is where EG can give lanes to supports. Warlock can take over the top lane. Slider's already taken over the bottom lane with Arteezy, happy to set up camp in the jungle. Something that maybe Faceless exploit to at least find some kills. That Slider bottom is a bit vulnerable to getting ganked.
I mean, that Slider bottom as well. If you look at the net worth, he's on par with the safe lane of Faceless.
Yeah, that's
Zai and Black.
bad to say the least.
Proving to be even just too elusive for the two of them. You know, Ice and XY come down here, they can't control him.
Just running loops. They want to get this bottom tier 1 tower perhaps as well, just get some cash for the rest of the team. Is pretty low with the constant Underlord spam. Will be Zai trying to keep it alive as long as possible. ISS doesn't even feel safe here.
Sumail?
Okay.
Is he going to be all right? Can they bring down this Lina? Looks like they should be. Oh, is he actually going to get himself away with the face boost? He is. This has got to be so frustrating. Again, the infused raindrop just saving Sumail's life. As they can't get the kills on Faceless. EG just finding action after action. 10 minutes in, a second one duel here for Universe. I don't think you can write this laning stage any better for EG if you wanted to. This has gone not just to plan, but beyond for the side of Evil Geniuses. And
Absolute
Faceless.
perfection.
I mean, I guess ever since the start there, where they were forced to react to EG's dominance in terms of the lanes they got, it started to go downhill. Zai could be the first to lose his life here as Faceless. I mean, they're so desperate to find that
Black
kill.
rotates in even. He wanted to like just try and come KS with like level 4 waveform if possible, doesn't even get it. Sumail didn't have Laguna, or it's a like, guaranteed kill on an Earth Spirit or something there, but he's okay with that. Absolutely disastrous for Faceless here in the early game, and there's just no clear solution. That's the thing. Normally you're looking at a game like this, is like, well, at least they can try to do this when they get this item, like a Blink Dagger. This game, it's like, well, Ember can perhaps smoke with his team, but the ideal hit, you need to be killing this Lina right now. Slider slowing down his Blink would be kind of nice, but I think Lina's the hero who's really far ahead. Lifesteal, yeah, he's top farm right now, but he's just ungankable. You got to accept this Lifesteal with Rage, invincible, until you have like a lot more farm on your cores. So you've got to find Lina or Slider. You've got to make moves, and Smoke Up is the call. Ember's on the move. You can't just sit around and expect to out-farm EG. Not when they've got these Midases.
Maybe they're prepared this time. They've scanned EG out. They know the Crit and Universe are there. XY comes in with a good boulder smash onto 2. Crit in trouble, but he gets the Golem out in time. Surely they can kill Crit. They can. They will bring the Warlock down. It does require all 4 of them to be there. Zai, maybe seeing if he can come back in, and oh, Universe. He absolutely loves dancing with this little Crystal Maiden. They won't get the damage. They do get the kill again, the 3rd duel pretty much on that CM. Zai looking for the cut around. Black in trouble. The Yule setup, perfect timing here. The silence will make sure no further damage comes out from Sumail. But with the crush and the final Laguna, Black is out. 10-1. Faceless.
Yikes.
A very, very painful beatdown so far here on the main stage.
Yep. I mean, as I say bottom, I don't really feel like there's anything he can do. That's just the nature of this pick and hero, is that he's not a comeback hero. He's just going to sit there, pressure this lane, try to take the tower, he's trying to help his team out by luring heroes bottom to come farm. But the problem is, we've seen Arteezy on Lifesteal able just to solo defend this lane. They haven't needed multiple heroes to deal with Underlord, and they've been able to keep this tower up for a very long time, despite all that lane pressure, and things continue to go from good to great to absolutely freaking awesome for EG, as a 10,000 net worth lead has been acquired. this is where you've got to chew through your smokes.
Maybe they can kill Arteezy.
Yeah, maybe you get a kill or two, but the problem is going to be like you get the kill or two, then you've used up all your smokes.
If you could tilt Artur, that could be the way back in for Faceless, but Arteezy is the one having a baller of a time as he just turns around, brings down Ice Ice Ice.
Not even remotely close.
You can't tilt this man. He's keeping his head in the game this time, and Arteezy.
Yep, he even had the rolling silence onto the lifesteal and everything. It was just, too much survivability with the armlet pickup. And, well, further armlet pickups, Legion Commander. I mean, everyone's having a great game. You can't even point at one player. Legion's going to start pulling miles ahead and become unkillable as well. Talk about Arteezy being unkillable, Legion, same thing. It's only Lina that's squishy, and I mean, Sumail's positioning has been very good this game. Yeah, absolutely.
Sumail, this whole tournament, very much giving us incredibly consistent performances at a high level.
Yep.
Whether it be his Lina or his Invoker, definitely for me the two heroes that he's been standing ahead of the pack on.
Kill for him.
Easy execution. Very easy combo for him. Timing's perfect.
And just knowing his hero there, he didn't actually have mana for the full 3-spell combo, so he Lagunas rather than Dragon Slave. More damage, and the Dragon Slave may have not gotten that kill, so...
He did the maths.
Yep, doing all the small things right.
Looks like that. Charlie Yang doing his homework, paying off. He learned a little from it. Over the shoulder. Jabs. That's an invis. Can he make something happen here? I mean, they need something Faceless. They desperately do.
Don't know if he can actually go. I mean, he gives his team the info, but...
They can bring people in. Okay. Universe and Arteezy, can they turn this around? They're incredibly deep. Themselves out of the Firestorm. Black moving forward. They may be able to kill Universe. Arteezy jumps out, looks towards Black. They've lost Uni. Artur will immediately just rage and TP out. So Faceless, I mean, every kill that they get will be massive for them. Yep. Nice bit of money going to Jabs.
Something. Gonna just buy as much time as possible. Straight into the Lincoln Sphere for Black. He wants a solution to that Jewel or Yule's initiation coming out from EG. And EG are eyeing off Roche. They've actually broken the Lincolns. We'll see if they commit to this one. Lifesteal is headed that direction. Definitely possible to take an early Roche here.
And very little it feels that Faceless could do in a full 5-on-5 situation at this stage.
Does look like they'll call it off and try and find a pick first. Arteezy just wanting to get some more farm.
And there we have. I mean, just look at the range that they have. Okay. I mean, he'll get out. Only just. I mean, actually, the Shadow Word. He has one more bolt charge he can use between the procs, and actually, casting a little bit early here. A little remnant to damage. I mean, I want to say that would have saved him, but I don't think it would have. I think the damage wouldn't have been enough anyway. But a nice little juke there of one of the instances.
Nicely played to slide a fist before remnanting away. Block a little bit of damage.
EG into the pit, as you mentioned.
I mean, they used the observable. They thought they had a pick. They were going to go Roche first. They only stopped going for Roche because they saw the Ember farming. They're like, well, we're going to get Roche regardless, so let's just kill an Ember first. But not the case. Not going to matter too much that they missed that kill. They've managed to secure the objective, taken an Aegis for themselves, and we'll be able to push down pretty much all these outer towers likely with this Roche. The Deso and Lifesteal is really all you need to be able to bring down buildings with ease, and you see Nuts get himself out of there with a nice little TP. Nuts definitely had some very cute plays this tournament with just like hiding always in the trees, getting off some good ultis on CMs and Warlocks, and positioning very well, but those are not the kind of plays that win you games as a 5-position support. So we'll see Ember reach that level 10 talent now.
Oh, and there we have the setup from Universe. Another successful duel, and this time it's on something a little bit bigger than the CM. Black is taken out and down.
It's the pre-Lincoln's kill, and not what you want to see if you're Faceless. As soon as that 5-man push comes, you want your Morphling at bottom lane or at top lane, split pushing and just trying to force those rotations back, but not going to be the case.
Arteezy's Desolator complete 17 minutes in on top of the armlet. Midas.
Open Wounds Lifesteal is just absurd. He gets back to full HP from an Open Wounds Midas. And yeah, the Desolator is what they're waiting for, really, to be able to push towers. Theoretically, even start chipping at tier 3s. You've got maxed out Rage. The Deso gives you the damage on the buildings. Gets the bonus damage talent now as well, so gets a good chunk of extra damage out of all these recent pickups.
The best the Faceless can do whilst they lose these towers, just trying to find as much as they can from the map. Jabs.
How's our Underlord doing? Is he got his relic, or Did he still go for, yeah, he's going for the Radiant still, fully committed. There's just no item for an underlord. You look at this game, you're like, man, what do I buy? Mech's not going to do much. The Radiance is not going to be a big game changer, I feel. It'll be a little bit annoying, but ultimately, not saying that makes him tankier. It doesn't
really
really
could lose
fulfill his role.
Raxen.
Yep. So you've got to come back and defend at some point. They're trying to maximize their gains elsewhere and defend at like the last possible moment, but Glyph has already been used. They're just trying to delay things with Ice on the high ground spamming and making sure Morphling gets like a tower at mid. Possibly even a second tower at mid if possible.
Jabs does have the blink in the veil.
Jesus, just like, enough is enough. I want this tower. Rages
Get
through.
these plays done, yeah. The Rax now exposed.
Still some good damage down mid. This is like all you can really do if you're Faceless. And yeah, the TPs will come back. Black doesn't have Lincolns yet.
Right. He doesn't even have the ult out as well. So with this first setup, they won't kill him initially, but the further TPs are coming through, and with the amp on him, Black has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and they will still claim the kill in the Morphling. Did manage to finish off his Lincolns in time, though, before he went down.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to wave TP out and didn't fully he had to turn first before he waved, and in the process, he didn't actually complete the waveform before clicking his TP. Echo Saber Lifesteal, this is like an item where you're like, let's try and end this game. Let's really up the heat.
Samael, see if you can find the catch onto Jabs. Jabs
Whoa.
will look to hide here. Samael just continues to chase down. In fact, Jabs has gone straight into the hands of Zai.
That cast range.
Can he get out? He cannot. The damage with that amplified, too much to follow through after the magic burst.
He gets such good cast range with that Aether Lens. And Sumail able to use those spells from such a long distance. Continues to snowball the control as things continue to get ugly. No Rax down just yet, so still not an insurmountable lead by any means, but you're still banking on EG overextending, making a big mess. If you can't fight them head-on in a team fight, we haven't even really seen the Warlock really have to... I mean, he contributed in the lane stage. He helped them win the lanes, but team fights just haven't happened. When you dominate the lanes this hard, like your team fight heroes like Warlock are just like, well, what do I do? Not much. But the EG pressure has been constant and kept Faceless busy back at base.
EG ready to jump in the base, to be fair.
To launch, it seems. He's got the vision with the high ground ward. Seems nuts.
Oh, there we have Zai with a beautiful jump in the crush onto 2. Artor looking towards Black. Black trying to get himself away, but he can't. The Morphling's out. They will find one kill in return, but the Golem's dropped onto 3, forcing Faceless to back Arteezy. Turning towards the Rax, and Mail comboing down Jabs. Laguna onto XY. They'll be able to find the Earth Spirit as well here. As EG just taking 3, only losing Zai. They'll clean the Rax up as well. 21 minutes in on this bottom lane. As 18-3, this is absolutely painful for Faceless.
Morphling unable to survive through it all, even with the shrine next to him. Still got taken down, and Sumail getting Bloodstone charges out of it. He's not intending on dying this game, but definitely an item that will give him constant mana regen and sustain. Next lane could be attempted if EG want to keep the pressure on. Looks like a, wow, Solar Crest already. This is going to really amp up their siege. You chuck that on the Lifestealer when he's sieging for the evasion as well as the extra armor. Doesn't worry as much about the tower hits. And it seems like it is going to be no letdown from EG. They want to keep the pressure up. The Echo Saber, not really a late game item for the Life, so the fact he gets this after the Desolator really says, let's push now. This is not an item. If you were looking to drag this game out, wait for another Roshan, play for the late game and just win through farm advantage, you wouldn't get this Echo Saber.
I mean, what happened, Goss, to the Faceless that we saw in game 1? Is this an outdraft, or is this just EG stepping up their game even more?
Definitely seeing the downsides of the Morphling. I mean, EG did a really good job winning the lanes. And Faceless just didn't secure their lanes very well. Went for like a risky setup with the Morphling in the off lane, ended up rotating him top. Felt like a traditional tri-lane, like just keeping the CM in Earth. I mean, they wanted to tri-lane bottom, and then they decided against it because they just traded hits poorly. If they just tri-lane top from the start, things would be very different. You'd see a lot more farm on Black's Morphling, as well as a lot less farm on this Legion Commander. It's hard. You see an opportunity to perhaps win like an extra lane. Like, okay, ice, ice, ice. He can just go for the 1v1 matchup. We can aggro trail lane bottom. If our aggro trail lane goes well, ice, ice, ice gets farmed, and we win the bottom lane. Didn't turn out how FACELESS hoped for, though.
EG looking to continue the flow of what's been pretty much an absolute stomp so far this game too.
Yep. I'll be back on the high ground next Rage. Just going to wait for one more creep wave, popping up the solar. They're not even going to wait for the Rage. Wait for the creep wave. They'll just go in without.
With the Rage and the solar crest upon him.
You've got creeps in bottom, so why wait for a creep wave when we've already got one elsewhere?
What can they do? They'll get the silence onto Artur. Able to smash onto no one. FACELESS looking
easy.
Pretty hopeless.
Teasy will be forced to rage defensively. That open wounds just providing such good sustain for the whole team. He gets chipped away at, he open wounds, he gets back to full, then he gets chipped away again. He'll open wounds once more, every little bit of HP. The constant sustain, your verse is huge spam, but it doesn't seem to bother Arteezy between the open wounds and the Shadow Word. Seeing that Shadow Word max out. Often you see these Warlocks kind of max get maybe 2 points in Shadow Word, maybe 3, but Teasy fully maxing it out.
And there we have the jump in to kick things off once again. They find the jewel. Chaotic Offering drops onto the back, and already Ice buys back immediately. Jabs jumps in with a burst, does manage to bring down Arteezy. Big kill for FACELESS. Can they get more though? Zai holds back. FACELESS with a crush. Gets up to the north. He's not going to be fine though. The adaptive strike from Black flies through. They've not only just found 2. Can they get anything more?
Hard to chase. They've lost Ember though. They've lost their chasing power in Black.
And Samael's back in. He's ready to try and put an end to this nonsense as Universe cleans up with the nuke. Ready to chase down Nuts. They'll turn towards the objective instead. A buyback will be forced out from Jabs. FACELESS trying their best to hold back this push, this siege from EG.
When you use that buyback, you don't just want to be repelling a push. You want to be securing kills, and Jabs unable to do so, and maybe unable even to defend his racks.
Got the fortification.
Has to get in there soon. Sumail's gonna purge off the Flame Guard.
Oh, Samael actually going to miss the combo here. Nuts coming in as well. Again, though, Universe jumps in, catches out Jabs. Jabs now on a dieback. Nuts out as well. Black, can he find Samael with the help of XY? They do bring down the Lina, but look at the damage. Universe just ready with the chase down. With these Moment of Courage procs, finds XY, and Black, the last one left surviving here on FACELESS, has to just tuck his tail and run away from Universe. And Samael indeed back for round 2 if Black wants to give it to them. Universe will be popped here. EG just focusing the objectives. Samael forces Black back to the fountain, and EG will be able to finally clean up this second set of racks. 26 minutes in, 25-6. This last rack's in the middle. FACELESS will have one more fight in them by the looks of it. But this really will be the final fight. They have to do something incredibly phenomenal here. Ice is going to try and take them back to the beginning of this game. But he'll cancel it. He knows that it's not going to help as the Laguna Blade flies into the eyeballs of the CM. Buybacks coming out from her and Black. The rack starting to fall. Arteezy. And now Jabs will get crit. There's a kill. There's been a buyback from Universe. Tie in again, 3-man crush. Arteezy gets to work on Jabs. Looks towards Nuts. It's a triple kill for Arteezy. There's the Ultra. Give that man a rampage. Somewhere beautiful to finish the game. And there we have it, 31-8. GG is called. 27 minutes in. The double rampage there for Artur as FACELESS just fell apart from the start. There never felt like there was ever a hope for them here in this match. No, as EG just multiple levels ahead of them in this game.
Yeah, they got face rolled as EG dominate all 3 lanes. Very hard to turn around such a bad laning stage. Like game 1, EG win all 3 lanes, but it was like close still. Like, and FACELESS also had items and heroes that could use those levels and farm they got to turn things around. They were getting active. They were making moves on the map. We saw an early Blink Dagger on Magnus to set up some kills. We saw Clinks rotating around. This game, they have a Morphling. Morphling isn't going to be able to rotate around, get kills to come back. Underlord's not rotating around. The 2 heroes and players that turned around the bad lane stage in game 1 were not on heroes that could do that in game number 2. So you lose the lanes that badly, you're going to get creamed, and EG just had their way. That was very dominant, very good showing from EG, a team that we expected to be able to 2-0 face.
Yeah, a team that's ended up in the lower bracket, but giving us the performance that a lot of Evil Geniuses fans will have hoped to see. This is the EG that they probably would have expected coming towards this. You said to people, we're going to have EG versus Faces. What do you expect to see? A lot of people would have said a stomp like that. Incredible stuff indeed. EG closing up the series 2-0. As for myself and Gods, don't go anywhere though, as we have to fly back to the panel. Over to you, Paul.
Thanks very much, Joe, and yes, good job as well from ODPixel and Gods there. And a 2-game sweep for Evil Geniuses means 1 relieved man on the panel, 5 relieved players as they head through to the 3rd round of the lower bracket. They'll be back, of course, tomorrow. We still have 1 more best of 3 today, and of course the semi-finals and grand final of the 1v1 competitions. Before we get there, though, let's check in with our panel once more. Capitalist, Purge, and PPD. Cap, how do you summarise that? It was a bit of a stomp second game. Was that what we were expecting to see from EG?
No, I mean, we kind of hyped the game 1 up as like, okay, Faceless, you actually contested Evil Geniuses very well. Even if you, like, I felt like the late game scenario, they weren't really going to win that, but I felt like they still were making things happen. I thought that was really impressive, and here they just kind of got rolled over by EG, so kind of anticlimactic to the way that game 1 ended.
I kind of feel like what happened this game was Faceless felt like they got really close in the last game, so they're trying to get their best draft that would perfectly counter what EG was doing, but they just completely forgot about the stability of their lanes, and they had none. It's like the mid tower died at 7 minutes with pretty much nobody there, and they got an Earth Spirit kill out of it, and the safe lane got pressured super hard. Like, that's what heroes like Legion Commander, Lina, and Lifestealer, they got like the 3 best lane pressure heroes for their position on the same team. So the lanes just felt so easy.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times this tournament with especially Legion Commander. We saw it against NP in the group stage. It's like you have a hard time really leaving any hero solo. Even like they kind of went aggro challenge at the beginning, right? And they gave Legion Commander that 1v1, and then the tri-lane, the tri-v-tri didn't go particularly well for them, so they tried swapping it up and throwing Morphling in the safe lane. And Legion Commander was just like farmed and over-leveled, and they couldn't deal with him at all.
I feel like the CM again was kind of a problem. It's not the best hero for pressuring lanes. It's good for like occasionally popping out, zoning an off lane, or roaming a little, but I don't feel like it's a good like try versus try hero in a lot of ways, just because low damage. Nukes are decent, but still have some issues there. I feel like maybe there was a better pick there. I
think the CM pick in both these games, very, very underwhelming. I know we talked about it, but this hero is popular in the meta, and it's not popular. I mean, it's not popular for no reason. And I think that the way a lot of the better teams are utilizing it is it's a hero that has it's a support hero that has the ability to gain experience and gold out of the jungle in the early game. And I don't think that they're utilizing it that way. They're trying to almost like lane support, or they're picking heroes that need lane support, like a Morphling and an Underlord, kind of like an Ember Spirit. These 2 heroes are not that strong in lane, and they look to their support heroes to help secure them in that lane. And that's why I think we see like Monkey King CM combos a lot, is because Monkey King can like help zone out a lane by himself, and CM can go grab something in the jungle instead of kind of just like watching Monkey King zone the enemy offlaner.
Yeah, I feel like a good substitution, something like Ogre, but Ogre's not really good anymore, so
sure,
they need something that has better lane pressure.
Even then, you can still lose your lanes, right? Evil Geniuses have shown plenty of times that the laning phase isn't everything, and you're more than willing to lose the laning phase, but you don't really have any kind of good comeback heroes. Like, one of the things that like old Evil Geniuses did, right, is you guys prioritize these really big team fight spells that you always had, like, even if the team had an advantage and they were going high ground against you.
We listen to this?
I'm just going to cut you off, and we'll go over to the interview.
You normally wouldn't make on heroes, so it's very comfortable for me to just sit in the safe lane and do what I want to do, buy Midas, and it's pretty relaxing, honestly.
这个英雄其实是个蛮好打，也蛮适合他打的英雄，然后也可以给对方的队伍挺大的压力的，所以他就可以一直待在自己比较舒适的地方，出一个点金手，慢慢的刷，然后再打的也挺简单的。
那么在第1盘的比赛当中 ，FACELESS 这边的马格纳斯是出到了刷星球，那当时可以说是局势一度反转，主动权掌握在 FACELESS 手里。那么 EG 是怎么处理这个情况的呢？
So the first game was pretty much a struggle, and FACELESS got refresh orb on Magnus, and they had like 2 OTs, so they kind of just like flipped the game. So how did you guys deal with it?
They kind of caught us off guard with the refresher. It was pretty scary playing against 1 RP, and then they doubled it, so we had to kind of play more cautiously on our cores. I wasn't able to really run in and do what I wanted, and we just had to play more safe, play around vision. We try to bait them into a location they don't really want to fight in. You know, just more passive.
其实他们并没有太期待到就是他们拿了那个刷新球，因为本来那个一个大招已经够让他们烦的了，然后现在有2个，然后他们现在就只能打得小心一点，然后再多放点眼，在视野范围内把那个 FACELESS 引进来这边打，然后这样才可以打。
EG 这支队伍在昨天的比赛之后可以说是打得越来越好了。那么想问一下，昨天 Crit 说他的期待是走一步算一步，那么对于现在的 EG 来说，有没有更远大、更有信心去挑战一下未来的目标？
So ever since the last game you played yesterday, and as Chris said, you guys are gonna take this match like step by step. But do you feel more confident right now? It's like any bigger goals?
I think the group stage opened our eyes a little bit on the game itself, and then we adapted pretty nicely, I feel like. So with every match on the stage, we're growing as a team and we're developing strategies and just generally playing better, playing more in sync. So I think every match that we play, we're just going to get stronger.
其实通过小组赛，他们也是慢慢的适应了这个，也慢慢的学了很多。其实他们打的每一局比赛，他们都在进步，每一局比赛打下来，他们都变得更强。
之前在媒体采访日的时候 ，RTC 曾经说过自己把胡子剃掉是想得到一个反效果，因为他之前来中国参加比赛把胡子剃掉都输了，所以他今天把胡子剃掉，希望能打赢。那么觉得有效果吗
？You shaved because you think that every time you have this beard on and then you just lose, but this time you think it's going to be something different?
I think I kind of heard my mom yell at me too much, and I just decided, you know, enough is enough. I just shaved it. Oddly enough, we lost the first time that I shaved, our first series against it was IG. We lost right away, but now we're picking it up. Maybe the curse is gone, the beard is gone, you know, it's all good.
其实本来是因为他妈妈实在讲他太多了，然后他觉得够了也是够了，然后一开始打 IG 的那一场。他立马就输了，所以他觉得，但现在的话又开始赢了，所以他觉得这个诅咒已经慢慢的在消失了吧。
看来电子竞技选手对于胡子这个梗还是有各自的理解。好的，那我们稍事休息，等一下来迎来下一场的比赛。
There we go then. The words of Artur. It gets better with every interview. Are you giving me
noticing improvement?
Yeah, definitely.
Nah, that's probably Phil. I'll take no credit.
All right, okay.
Yeah,
that's
Phil. I know. That's what I noticed that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's getting he's better. It's always kind of awkward being on interviews, especially when it's being translated into Chinese and you have no idea what the person is saying.
Yep. Let's take a look at the scoreboard right now. Sumao with another fantastic.
Only one death.
Yeah, another fantastic game from Sumao with the 1 death. 10-1-9 from him, and RTZ 9-1-3 on the lifesteal. Who's the MVP, Peter?
Oh, wow. I don't know.
I give it to you because it's always harder.
Why don't we give it to Crit? The drafter?
Let's give it to Crit.
I think this was that was
a draft. Yeah, it was a draft win, wasn't it? So
outdraft, outlane,
MVP
outplayed.
Crit. Unfortunately, when we come to the stats, there's no stat in there that says good draft.
We all know.
Well, if you ignore the 6 kills RTZ got at the end of the game, we can actually just cut off his kills down to 3. So he just had like an average game, you know.
That's true. That double rampage looks good, but that game was over a long time before that.
It really was. I won't count those.
All right, okay. Overall thoughts on EG? Much better today. Obviously, you heard Artur. He said that it feels like they're getting better with every game on the stage. There is a lot to that, Cap, isn't there? We've seen EG do that before in tournaments.
Yeah, isn't that, Peter? Is that kind of like why they're not you know,
well, I think
day
playing
one group stage.
I think playing in North America, you don't have, that's the thing about the international tournaments is you don't have exposure to all these different scenes and all these different amazing top teams. You come to an international tournament, all of a sudden you're not playing against the typical North American teams that you're practicing against and boot camping for a week in advance. So you come up here and you play against Chinese teams who are playing Lina, and you find out this guy on IG knows how to play Monkey King, and you're like, oh, this makes so much sense. We should be using that. And then you take that and you play it yourself and you try to improve it. And you try to be better than those people at what they're doing. So, it's always good to put your own twist on things, but you can learn a lot from other teams.
Okay. We've had a lot of fun with the questions that you guys have been sending over to us via the social media thread on Reddit. So why don't we take one more before we head to a break. This one, changes to EG's drafts and strategy since Crit came in as captain. What's been the big changes, Peter?
I don't know. I think that, I guess Zai and Crit can swap up heroes. I never played like Earth Spirit, and I never played Wisp, and I think Zai and Crit both play it, so they're a little bit more interchangeable on heroes. Rather than when I was there, I always played the hard 5, and Zai played the 4, or whoever was our 4 at the time.
Do you feel like the draft style is very similar to what it was when you were there? I mean, for instance,
I think the
it seems
drafts-
Crit Light leaves 4 and 5 very similar to the way you did for the carry and the
I think they
and the
take
mid.
their support heroes early. That's something that I was doing at the end of my time on EG, and they saved their last pick for Sumail's hero, and he's the highest impact player on the team. So I think it's absolutely the right thing to do, and I think it's very similar. I think that there's a very routine system with EG, and it just kind of adapts to where the meta is currently at.
Okay. Any other thoughts from either you? Or
I mean, these are pretty much all PPD questions, so I don't think I have any follow-ups on this one.
Well, let me tell you about PPD's drafting style.
Indeed.
This is about EG. Like, I mean, you guys are casters. You guys casted my games. You guys casted these games. So you watched them. So
we watched a lot of EG games, though.
Yeah.
And I would say there's some certain similarities where that Evil Genius has always been pretty efficient. I think another word is greedy, and that you like to be able to have a lot of farm on some of your cores and maybe one of your support. And that mentality of like, is there a mentality of like we can outplay them or we can out team fight them? Because I always feel like EG, like we're down to lose the laning phase sometimes, or we're okay with the early game being a little shoddy, but we feel confident going mid to late game that we will outfight you in that regard.
I think from what I've been seeing at this tournament and what maybe it was similar before is like it's always nice to have that win condition. And that's what we're talking about a lot of Ursa lineups and some like the first best of 3 we saw today, the China versus China matchup. We didn't really. Sometimes the teams didn't really have a win condition, which is a big red flag for a team like EG.
Yeah. Okay, thank you to all 3 of you. We're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, though, we're heading to our 3rd best of 3 of the day. It's still in the lower bracket. This time we're going to move on 1 round, however, and do the top half of round 3. Team Empire are back in the arena. They've exceeded expectations so far, but can they take down Vitality?